Welcome to another episode of Sustainable Living at Home with Janine Liza on the Art with Janine Liza YouTube channel. 2 weeks after planting, I'm going to take another look around. Little walk around the garden. Here's my baby pear tree. I think we rescued it last year. It was at a garden centre, but it was so dry in the plant pot. My young son saw it drying out in the pot and said, "Mum, we've got to rescue it." So we did. Over here we have our experiment plants. This one's a cantaloupe, and you can see they've actually started coming in. I wasn't sure if they would or not, so that's why I call them this is my experiment section. This is the pomelo, which is from a fruit that I enjoyed in the fall. I kept the seeds from it. And this one is canola, which is a couple of seeds I got from a friend's plant, which was exciting, so I want to see how they do. Over here we just have this is my lettuce pot. It's a bit beaten up and I probably should get rid of it, but it still works, so I'm going to use it. I've added a few small plants and then some seeds in here. Here's my blueberry bush that I never get any blueberries from because the squirrels get them all. And even when I put it in the enclosure, this is wild strawberries down here. They're pretty little flowers. And we always get a few wild strawberries, which is nice, but they can go crazy. That's why I have them in the pot. In the back here is the lemon balm, which makes a lovely tea. It usually goes crazy here, but I've sort of cut it back. So we have a little bit, and this is the weeping mulberry with its little mulberries growing in. It's so pretty. Over here I decided to put a bit of zucchini in this bed, and I used these rulers because I had so many of them from when I did classes. So I thought, why don't I put zucchini here? And then it can climb up the side of the bed because the sun comes from over there, so that still doesn't take away sun from anything. And it can share this fence with the scarlet runner beans, which will grow on the other side. Let's have a look in the enclosure and see how the plants are doing. So it was a few weeks ago, it was a couple of weeks ago. I don't know what's in here. I don't think I planted anything in here yet. In this bed I decided to put some bush beans. So these will be like those yellow beans or white beans, little short ones like this. So we have the bush beans and they're growing nicely in here. And then along the back I remember putting some lima beans, but as yet I don't see anything coming up. Over here the peas are very happy and they're starting to grow up. And eventually they'll get some length on them and they'll wind around these cages as well as hopefully the back of the enclosure. Got a bit of the muddle of the pots here, we'll sort those out later. Over here you can see how well the little onions are doing, and in the front the chives that are planted here are happy too, along the side, and we even have a little bit happening along this edge as well. In this bed I have planted beets. I decided to put beetroots in here, so I just put the seeds in, and you can see these little guys are doing all right. They'll be taking their time. They're a little bit of a winter vegetable, so there's no hurry for them. Along here I put in the parsnips. Sometimes they do okay in the raised beds, but sometimes better in the ground beds. We'll just see how they do. There's nothing yet though. I just have to remember to keep the raised beds watered more than the ground beds because they do tend to dry out more. Although I do have a little bit of shade in this area which helps them to keep some moisture. And I mean, these guys survived an entire winter in here, this kale, which has now gone to flower and might potentially go to seed, I don't know. We'll see. If I get any seeds off of them, that would be great because, oh, look at this. These are actually seed pods. That's wonderful. I might even get some seeds that I could plant this year off of them. It's amazing. So down here are those little baby kales that were little plants that I added to this enclosure. Little purple ones in the back, and they seem to be happy in here too. And there's a little bit here of the black kale, which is also doing very well. So let's go and take a look at the ponds and the herb bed. Get my little latch done up here. Go through the gate. Right here is let's look over here first. So we have the herb bed where I planted the rosemary, which is a little bit bigger. And this little bit of basil is a bit bigger too. And look at the scarlet runner beans. They just seem to be thriving again. Except for, we've had some visitors, little snails. I found some of those yesterday when I was going through the garden. So I'm happy with this, and if you look, even though some of the lower leaves have been devoured, there's still something thriving up here, and look at this little arm reaching. And soon it will wind around these, and then all of this will be covered in scarlet runner beans, and hopefully too the zucchini from the back. That should be fun. I've got the lavender here, the fruit was planted last year, and then I put a little baby lavender down here too, because I really love the smell of lavender. And that should thrive as well because it's right by the pond. So let's have a look what's going on in the pond. Angela and Bruce are there swimming together. And there I see Todd coming along, the orange boy there. And here's Mozart. Oh, right there behind, right beside Angela now. A little bit smaller than the rest, it's the orange and white one. And then there are lots of little goldfish. They're all growing quite nicely in this pond and loving it. In the pond I have some experiment plants. I placed these pots down in the water to give them a good chance to get started. I have cucuzza in that pot over there, hoping that takes off, just in case it doesn't do well in the garden bed, and then I can transplant it over. In this pot here, the red one, I planted some lychee seeds. This is a fruit I really enjoy. I save some of the seeds, pop them in this pot, and we'll see how they do. As cold as the winters get, we do get some tropical-like weather here in the summer in Canada, and I'm hopeful that these might start growing, even if I have to take them indoors for the winter. In this pot I have planted some canna lily seeds. I harvest them from a flower that I had planted in the front yard a couple of summers ago, and I'm giving it another shot. I tried it before, it didn't work, but I'm trying it in the pond this year. And in this pot right here I have some mystery seeds, and they literally are mystery. They are just two large seeds, and I wasn't sure what they were, so I thought I'd have some fun and pop them in. I found these little tiles in the house that weren't being used and decided to write with a permanent marker on them. It still might wash off, but it gives me a little reminder of what I've planted and where, and they're weatherproof, so that's kind of handy. Another way that the pond is helpful in the garden, as well as being just beautiful to look at and helping me to start plants, is when it rains, the water rises in the pond, which creates an excess, and I can lower my watering can into it quite a few times and take the nutrient-rich water to my plants. This helps to get small plants started, and it's a little bit like when I had the aquaponics system and I was running the nutrient-rich water from the pond to the plants. I do hope to get that system set up again sometime in the future. And over here I have my eggplants. Now most years I usually plant one eggplant or two. This year I decided to have a whole bed of eggplants and give them a good shot of succeeding. So far they look okay. They look like they're doing all right. There we go. And here are the baby celeries that I put in. And now they're also growing well. This is a very sunny spot here. And I've put in some seeds for celery over here as well. I'll get some more water in a bit. So over here, here's the broccoli. And of course the snails have had a field day with those. There was 4 of them, now I only have 2, so I've put some eggshells around the bottom, which makes the journey to the plant not so much fun for the snails. So I'm hoping that's going to help out. Usually it does. When I put the eggshells down each year, it usually helps a lot. Here's the Swiss chard. And you're going to notice that I've put some eggshells down around these 2, hoping that it saves them. These are the cauliflowers. There we go, 4 cauliflower plants. At the front here I have the pak choi. And in this spot right here I have planted some bok choy from those little seeds I had in that pot previously when I was sorting my seeds. And you can see I've got another plaque here to remind me what's in the garden, because I do tend to forget sometimes before they start to grow. So here we have the sage, and that's doing really well this year, and I'm surprised because this was in a pot last year and it didn't do well, and then it was in the pot all winter, which means that the roots should have frozen, but somehow it managed to hang on, so I've given it a special spot in the garden to thrive this year. I know I planted something in that corner, but I can't quite, oh yes, it was asparagus. So I threw in the rest of my asparagus seeds. Gimli wants to say he's in the window of the house there. And here's the potato bed coming along nicely. Over here I have the, well, I had planted the cuckoos a couple of weeks ago and I don't actually see anything happening. I'm tempted to dig down a little bit and just see if anything is sprouting from the seeds. Maybe I should do that, just a sec. Let me see if I can prop the camera here and have a look. How's that? Is that going to work? Maybe I'll just put it in the soil. Nope, that's not going to work. It's an iPad, so I'm trying to figure out how to prop it to have a look here. How's that? Can you see? Okay, let me just dig in a tiny bit and see if I can find any of the seeds. I just want to see if they're actually doing anything down there, even if I disturb them a little bit. Where did they go? Are they in there? I don't see anything. Dig down a little bit more. Maybe it's compacted a bit. If I just see one seed starting to sprout, it will give me a little bit of hope here for these cuckoosas. Just a moment, I'm going to dig in a bit more. I should have brought my shovel. Didn't know I was going to do that. All right, come on, where are you? Did you vanish? Oh, what did I just see? Did I just see a little bit of green? Oh, there was a spark of hope. 1 second. What's going on in here? I don't actually see anything. Oh, 1 minute. What's going on here? What's this? So here's a cucoosa. And it doesn't look like it's sprouted or anything. Maybe they're so tough it takes a little while for it to do anything. I found one of the seeds. It does seem a little softer. Interesting. Let me look for another one. I'm getting in there with the worms. Is there anything happening anywhere? Oh, there's hope. There's the hope I was looking for. That's fantastic. Okay, so I'm going to pop this back in and say a little prayer for that one. There is hope. Maybe I buried them a little too deep. I'm not sure, but I'm going to go get my watering can and get some of that nutrient water and put it in there. Okay. So in here I have put some kale because I decided I would like to have some more kale growing since I had the extra space, and you can never have too much kale growing in the garden. So here I put those extra little onions as well, because again, onions do deter some of the critters, and well, I love onions. This is a pot where I haven't put anything in it yet. I need some ideas for this one. I'm thinking of something that grows up, but I do have a lot of beans planted already. So I'll just leave this one for now and think about it. Okay, so over here I have put some cherry tomatoes and peppers and then carrots in this new bed that I've put here. So carrots along here, peppers here, and tomatoes here. Let's take a look over here. These are the Brussels sprouts, and again there was 4 of them, and now we're down to 2. One is really dwindling, poor thing. It's struggling. The snails have had a field day with it, so we'll see how it does. I've put some eggshells down as well. And along here, these are the long beans, and they are actually growing, and I'm hopeful for these too. So now that I see there's a few sprouted, I might actually go get some more and pop some more in the soil and give them a really good chance of doing well. I've put some string on the trellises, and well, the plants don't care what it looks like. Once you get started, well, it was kind of hard to kind of figure out a sort of, you know, pattern, but I just decided to go with it like that. And I'm like, the plants don't care, they don't care. And here's another beautiful trellis, ready for the plants to grow up. I did think about using that bicycle as well, but it's all right. So back here I have some more scarlet runner beans coming in, and I've put some more of that eggshell down, and these should grow nicely up here, and we'll have plenty of beans. Okay, so that's it for the backyard, and I'm going to make a video of the front yard at some point and all the fun things that are going on out there. This year I've also set up my rain barrels to actually work. I've had them for a few years and it's been tricky to get them set up, but I finally figured it out. Instead of using the house drainage from the eaves troughs, I built an eaves trough on the back of my shed. It's just a little one, and I was a little bit concerned that it wouldn't provide enough water. However, after just one rain, with it coming down into this barrel, I have a full barrel of water, and I'm so excited about it. It is super exciting how you can access free water in order to water your plants. And this barrel did get a little bit of water in it, but it drained out accidentally because the hose, even though it locks at the end, it actually released a tiny bit of water at a time and it was gone. So it doesn't seal perfectly. This one fortunately is sealing okay, and I'm happy with that. It's very dry in the end there, you can see it, yet the rain barrel is full. I still should elevate it up. So I find that elevating the pipe up is a handy way to sort of prevent the leaks. So what I did to prevent the water leaking out was I elevated this, attached it to another pipe to make it longer so I could elevate it up. And I'm keeping it up higher than the barrel in order to prevent leaks down there. Now let me see, I think this is actually what this groove is for. It's for holding that. That's right. So if that stays up and elevated, the chances of it leaking out are a lot less. I'm really happy with the way that the rain barrel system is set up this year, and I'm really hoping it's going to help to save water and prevent using water from the house. The pond is not only great for sustainability, where you can use the water after rain for the plants to give them some nutrients, but you also get the peace and serenity of watching the pond and the fish. The pond can be built up slowly over a few years. so that the cost does not impact you too much. Generally, you just need a liner, some stones, a filter, some fish food, and a few fish. I hope you've enjoyed walking around the garden with me and that you are enjoying your journey of starting up your gardens this year and looking at ways to make it more sustainable while enjoying the beauty of it all as it goes along. I'll catch you next time. Thank you for joining me on my journey of exploring sustainable ways of living at home. Please feel free to explore more videos on Art with Janine Liza YouTube, where you will find more videos like this one, plus art and craft tutorials. Thank you to everyone who has clicked subscribe and is helping my channel grow. If you're a visitor, please click subscribe and join the fun.